Now at 8, a Portland woman is suing American Airlines after she says she was sexually assaulted by a drunk passenger while on board a plane. I'll bring you the full story coming up.
And semi-trucks have officially been banned from crossing the Stark Street Bridge after multiple crashes over the years. How long the restriction will last ahead. And this morning we're hearing from the musical stylings of Michael Allen Harrison as he prepares to kick off his annual Christmas at the Old Church performances. We'll hear more of him later this hour as your news at sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green, headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at your weather and traffic this morning.
Music like that and sunrises like this are the reason why you watch the Sunrise Show, right? At least for this morning. We are really pretty above the cloud deck, but of course the rest of us are down below. So this is what it looks like from the Rose City sky camera. 53 degrees with a little bit of drizzle being squeezed out from that cloud deck at PDX at last check. And it is really socked in right now on the Capitol Mall. This is the live shot from our Salem sky camera. It's 47 degrees, air nearly saturated, and that is driving visibility down to a quarter mile right now in Hillsborough, half a mile in McMinnville, quarter mile in at McNary Field down in Salem. And so for that reason, that part of our viewing area under a dense fog advisory through 10 o'clock. Little foggy, really foggy for some of us. The fog lifts. We'll see some partial clearing this afternoon with highs in the upper 50s. I think a better bet for some afternoon sunshine on Saturday here in Portland. And then kind of a 50-50 weekend. We do have some light rain back in the picture on Sunday. We'll look at that in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. And our first trouble spot of the morning, really our only trouble spot at this point, thankfully, is in West Lynn. I-205 southbound, a crash has just been cleared to the shoulder near the 10th Street exit ramp. It's clear now, so both lanes are moving, but the southbound commute is backed up to the Abernathy Bridge and beyond right now. So hopping on the freeway from Clackamas, your southbound drive to West Lynn is going to take you a few extra minutes. Elsewhere, the rest of the drive time is not in too bad a shape. Right now, you're tripping from Troutdale, 23 minutes on I-84. The drive across the Columbia River on I-5, a little slow over the interstate bridge, and that's normal for this hour of a Friday morning commute. We've got 18 minutes now to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont. China?
Thank you, Chris. A Portland woman is suing American Airlines after she was allegedly sexually assaulted by a drunk passenger soon after the plane took off. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joined us in the newsroom. So Thomas, walk us through what happened.
Yeah, well, China, this started at an airport in Springfield, Missouri last December when the Portland woman's lawyer says another passenger was pounding beers and shots at an airport bar during a flight delay. The man allegedly said something inappropriate to the Portland woman, who then left the bar. But once the flight began to board, her attorney Mark Lindquist says the man caused more problems. He was allowed on the flight and his seat was right next to the Portland woman's. That's when court documents report he said something like, quote, "This is my lucky day." The woman put in her headphones and tried to ignore him, but that's when things got even worse.
Once the plane started taking off, he started grabbing her and groping her, and she yelled for a flight attendant. At first, the flight attendant was, ma'am, you've got to stay in your seat. But then the flight attendant realized what was happening and moved her to a different seat.
The captain reported the incident to local police in Dallas when they landed. The victim and a flight attendant who was also allegedly assaulted spoke with investigators. A police report is referenced in the lawsuit where the man admits to mixing alcohol with prescription drugs. Lindquist says the man has been charged. The victim has also sued her alleged attacker along with American Airlines and SkyWest Airlines.
Our client wants accountability and also wants to make sure that this doesn't happen to other people on airplanes. She wants to see airlines follow the rules and keep flights safe and keep drunks off.
We've reached out to both American Airlines and SkyWest for a statement on this lawsuit. An American spokesperson told us, quote, "The safety of our customers and team members is our highest priority. We are reviewing the complaint." China?
Thank you, Thomas. Meantime, a grand jury has cleared a Clackamas County Sheriff's deputy of any wrongdoing after shooting a man in early November. So investigators say the deputy was called to a home where a man who was reportedly intoxicated and had possible mental health issues set a trailer on fire. As the deputy exited her car, the suspect, 41-year-old Daniel Zimmerman, allegedly sprinted at her, ignored commands to stop, then put his hand behind his back. That's when the deputy fired a single shot. Zimmerman was treated at the hospital. His trial is set for January. The Multnomah County DA's Retail Task Force is asking for your help finding a man wanted for aggravated theft. So take a good look at your screen right here. The DA's office says 54-year-old Timothy Jones right there is accused of stealing from plaid pantry stores across Portland. He's been frequently seen at Dawson Park near North Stanton and Williams. If you see him, call 911. You can also contact Crime Stoppers of Oregon, which is offering up to $2,500 reward for any tips that lead to an arrest. Effective immediately, Multnomah County is banning semi-trucks from using the Stark Street Bridge after another crash in October. You may remember that a truck slammed into the concrete wall, crumbling the pedestrian bridge fence and then launching a chunk of stone onto the sandy riverbank. Now, commercial trucks over 19 tons are banned from turning onto the bridge from the historic Columbia River Highway. The restriction will stay in place until the 110-year-old bridge is replaced. Now to an update from our nation's capital. The Senate voted down a proposal to extend tax credits under the Affordable Care Act, a decision that could lead to higher health care costs for many Americans at the start of the year. Senators voted on two partisan bills, the Democratic bill to extend the subsidies and a Republican alternative that would have created new health savings accounts. Both of them failed. Last week, we spoke with a Portland resident who depends on these subsidies. Mac Reed, who has diabetes, says that the assistance lowers her price of insulin from about $500 a month to $86 for a 3-month supply.
You know what's going to happen is, like, I'm going to go bankrupt, and then my mom's going to go bankrupt, and then I'm going to die. Like, that's basically that's the, like, sequence of events if I can't afford insurance.
House Speaker Mike Johnson vows to bring up his own bill next week. In tech headlines this morning, the future of robotics is now on display in the California Bay Area of the Humanoids Summit. The summit is not only showcasing robots for major tech companies, but robots that can improve people's daily lives, like Psionic Ability Hand or the humanoid robot built to assist teachers and nurses. Disney has reached a 3-year agreement with OpenAI to let Sora generate AI videos of its characters. Characters in the deal include Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Lilo and Stitch, several Disney princesses, and more. On top of that, Disney is investing $1 billion into OpenAI, saying that it will use its services to develop new products and experiences, including for Disney+. Amazon has revealed Alexa's most asked questions of 2025. The roundup includes how long do I poach an egg for, what's the diameter of Earth, and general questions about celebrities. One of the most ironic questions is what does AI stand for? All right, headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at your weather and traffic.
I ask Siri, where's my phone all the time? I put my phone down and I'm like, where's my phone? I need to get an AirTag or something in it. All right, Rose City Sky Camera showing the low clouds have kind of swallowed up the downtown buildings here. So in some cases, we're pretty foggy. And in fact, at last check, PDX reporting a little drippy, drizzly coming out of that fog bank. The state capitol mall here really socked in. Usually we can see Gold Guy there off in the distance, right on top of the Capitol Dome. Not this morning. We're socked in, nearly saturated there. And so that's why we've got the dense fog advisory for Hillsborough, McMinnville, Salem. At last check, visibility in Hillsborough back down to a quarter mile. It's been bouncing around a little bit, but now a quarter mile there, quarter mile visibility in Salem as well. So low beams on, slow your speed down on the freeway, of course. Futurecast, it shows that the low clouds and fog may not completely clear Salem or even here in Portland, Vancouver, although we do poke some holes in the cloud cover a little bit. We may wind up like an afternoon like what we saw yesterday. Won't be as warm. But the Mid-Valley, good chance you guys stay socked in today. And as such, the temperatures probably will be a little cooler there. While Portland and Vancouver get into the mid-50s. Same story up towards Longview, maybe 57. Salem may be hanging out around 52 or so for a high this afternoon. All right, let's get into your weekend. Tomorrow, a day that probably starts pretty foggy. And then we are expected to see some afternoon sunshine. So Saturday may be the nicest day of our 7-day forecast. In fact, not the nicest day of the 7-day forecast, but the nicest day in the next 10 days. Just know that. There is some light rain back in the picture on Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, while this is nothing like what we just went through, this will be a pretty wet period. I'm going to dive into this in more detail and also talk about the possibility of some lowering snow levels in the Cascades. That's coming up in about 10 minutes. Let's get you out the door. There's a live look at the roads this morning. Our one and only trouble spot is into West Lynn, and actually that crash has cleared, but the residual delay remains. We'll zoom in. I can show you I-205 south running pretty thick through the Gladstone area. Our speed sensors there show that moving along at about 10 miles an hour. So give yourself a few extra minutes to get from Clackamas to West Lynn, as that I-205 traffic is still taking a little while to flush out. A little foggy, or up in the low cloud deck anyway, at the Sylvan Hill. That's Highway 26, of course. You're driving from Hillsborough at last check, 25 minutes, and last but not least through North Portland. A little drippy and drizzly there. I think I see the windshield wipers going on some of those cars there. So we got some drizzle being squeezed out of that low cloud deck, and that's probably adding to some of the slowing. We're up to 20 minutes, or 18 minutes anyway, to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. China?
Thank you, Chris. Willamette University and Pacific University have signed the letter of intent to explore a merger. If approved, the move would make the new combined school the largest private university in Oregon. The institution would be renamed the University of Northwest, but each campus would retain its individual branding and identity. Both universities' presidents said that it will create more opportunities for students.
In the long run, what we hope is to provide our students with more pathways into more fields so that they can find success in the fields that Oregon needs the most.
We really want to be an institution that can nimbly respond and provide what our future students need and what our state needs and our region needs.
So they say that the process will take years but won't impact current students. The universities plan to spend the next few months working towards finalized agreements. Then they'll have to deal with regulation hurdles as well. Still ahead, heart-stopping moment as a skydiver gets stuck on a plane's tail after he jumps out. How he manages to get down safely. We also got Michael Harrison in the house this morning previewing his annual Christmas at the Old Church Spectacular. We will hear more from him after the break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back. This morning we are joined by pianist extraordinaire and friend of the Sunrise Show, Michael Allen Harrison. Tomorrow marks the start of his yearly holiday special, Christmas at the Old Church. Let's take a listen. So shows are going on every day tomorrow through Christmas Eve. For more details on times and tickets, go to michaelallenharrison.com. All right, your time now is 8:15. We have a lot of weather to talk about. A little bit of weather, a lot of weather.
Little bit of weather. We had a lot of weather to
Yes,
talk about. Now we got a little bit of weather. No, we do have plenty. There's always weather to talk about, right? So let's start off with this. It has been almost as warm outside as it is in our studio right now. It's 7.5 degrees above average for the last 11 days. So we're starting off the month of December on an incredibly warm note. We hit 62 back-to-back days. One of our overnight lows this week was 58. Normal high for this time of the year is 47. So very warm, which of course is leading to no snow up in the Cascades, right at the Cascade ski resorts. By the way, I've been time-lapsing this. I hope to bring this back later. This is a really pretty shot of the sunrise from Timberline Lodge pointed south towards Mount Jefferson. It is 41 degrees right now at Timberline. The freezing level today is up over the peak of Mount Hood. Okay, that's the bad news. The good news is, in the extended forecast, multiple models now, both the European and the GFS model, are suggesting with some regularity now that the snow levels are going to drop, not just for a day or two, but maybe a pattern shift that would allow us to start getting Cascade Pass level snow and maybe even lower than that as we get beyond the range of our 7-day forecast. So we'll cross our fingers for that. That would be some phenomenal news up in the Cascades to get some snow. All right, that's a couple days from now. For right now, it's foggy out there, and in some cases we are squeezing out a little drizzle from that fog deck. We'll probably see fog tomorrow morning, and then I'm hopeful that we'll see some afternoon sunshine. Saturday will probably be the nicest day in our 7 to 10 day forecast. So if you're trying to get outside and you don't like rain, you live in the wrong part of the country in December, but Saturday is your day to probably enjoy mostly dry weather. Rain does return, light rain on Sunday, and then more significant rain comes our way next week. And before we get too worried about that, yes, there is some subtropical moisture coming into that system next week, but at this point, it doesn't look like anything that we've just been through. That being said, that's the wettest part of our forecast here as we go to Monday and especially Tuesday and Wednesday. You can see the European model hits us with 1, 2, and 3 weather systems in fairly rapid succession next week. So we put that all together. We may be looking at an inch and a half of rain up and down the I-5 corridor. Initially, it will be rain in the Cascades, but those snow levels do come down later in the week. Rain, of course, in the Coast Range as well. Again, that's next week. For now, it is foggy out there. Foggy at 47 degrees last check in Salem. The current visibility right now in Hillsborough is a quarter mile. It's a quarter mile in Salem as well. The fog may not burn off down there, so that may hold the temperatures. Meanwhile, the fog is starting to break up a little bit on our Rose City sky camera, but we are reporting some light drizzle at PDX, and of course that dense fog advisory is to the south side of town here through 10 o'clock this morning. Futurecast tries to poke a few holes in that cloud cover this afternoon. We may, and then we'll all likely wake up to some clouds tomorrow morning and fog as well. Mid to upper 50s here in Portland, Vancouver, and Longview. Mind you, the normal high this time of the year, again, is 47, so we're still way above average. There you can see the evidence that Salem may not get out of the fog today, and that's why your high hovers around 50. Wet weather returns on Sunday, and then as we mentioned, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week look pretty wet. Additionally, Cascade snow levels will be lowering a bit, so we'll keep our eyes on that. If you've got some travel in the mountains next week, you're going to want to kind of stay tuned to the forecast. All right, if you got some travel right now, the roads are a little slow in some cases. Let's get you out the door. There's I-205 through Gladstone. We're still kind of suffering from an earlier crash in West Lynn. That crash has been cleared to the shoulder, but the drive from Clackamas south to Oregon City is still pretty slow at this point. It's dry on that side of town. A little foggy right now at the Sylvan Hill. Highway 26 coming in from Hillsborough is about a 25-minute ride, and as we mentioned, a little drizzle being squeezed out from that low cloud deck this morning. I think you can see that on that camera. That's I-5 up into the Expo Center. Right now, your southbound drive. 17 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Thank you, Chris. Officials are warning this respiratory virus season could be tough due to holiday travel and new flu variant. Mandy Gaither has the details in today's Health Minute.
It's a gift no one wants to give or get. But with travel and get-togethers this holiday season, respiratory viruses can be easily spread, and it's already starting.
I'm actually consulting in my hospital this week, and we're seeing a lot of influenza A here in Connecticut.
Dr. David Hill with the American Lung Association says this winter there's expected to be a surge in cases of flu, COVID-19, and RSV. CDC officials believe this season will be similar war to the last, when the agency estimated that at least 1 million people were hospitalized and more than 70,000 people died from respiratory virus illnesses. Those over the age of 65 are especially at risk from getting severely sick.
The flu and COVID tend to lead to higher hospitalization rates and higher deaths in that population. So getting vaccinated is really important for that group of people.
Of the patients hospitalized for flu last season, the CDC says only about 1/3 were vaccinated. This season, there's a new flu variant. Combined with lagging vaccinations, there's a worry that things may look much worse in the weeks ahead.
Talk to your provider. Try to get vaccinated. It's the best way to protect yourself and your loved ones.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, a massive explosion caught on camera. We have the latest in the Bay Area gas explosion that injured multiple people.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Turning now to a scare in the air caught on camera. A skydiver's parachute deployed early and got caught up in the plane's tail, leaving him dangling 15,000 feet above the ground. George Solis has more.
The terrifying scare at 15,000 feet caught on camera. Watch, this skydiver's backup parachute inadvertently opened as he's about to jump out of a plane, launching him backwards. His parachute cords wrapping around the plane's tail, his legs striking the plane.
The potential for this to have a very different outcome was very real.
The harrowing scene unfolding this past September in Queensland, Australia, as a group from a skydive club attempted a formation that was being filmed. You can see the skydiver's parachute handle snag on the plane's wing, deploying his chute. The skydiver knocks into the group's camera operator, sending him into a free fall. He's able to land on the ground safely.
How crucial was it for everyone to remain calm under pressure here?
Well, most definitely for the parachutist involved. There's a lot of options in front of you. Choosing the right ones is not always as easy as it sounds.
Investigators say the skydiver who was stuck managed to grab his hook knife and cut through 11 lines of his backup parachute in 50 seconds. Once free, the skydiver was able to pull the cord to his main parachute and get on the ground safely. Authorities also credit the pilot who declared a mayday call and successfully landed the plane.
It's great to release a report that has an outcome like this.
Incredibly, the skydiver only suffered minor injuries to his legs. The camera operator telling NBC News they were able to share a few hugs and drinks after. George Solis, NBC News.
To San Francisco now, dozens of firefighters were called to an explosion that sent 6 people to the hospital, 3 of whom were in serious condition. The explosion was caught on camera.
I could sleep through anything and it woke me up, and it was a big boom and the house jumped literally jumped.
Gas company crews were already on the scene of a broken gas line and had shut off the flow of gas. But about 2 hours later, the site still exploded, destroying 2 buildings and damaged a third.
A lot of the challenges that initial crews faced were power lines were actually falling onto the homes because of the flames impinging upon them. Crews were feeling some of the electricity when engaging the fire and had to back out a little bit.
Fire crews used water cannons to put out those flames.
This program has been around for more than 30 years. It's kept millions of gallons of paint from ending up in the landfill.
A Metro program is shutting down after 30 years of paint recycling, how it's inspired changes and why it's closing now. And U.S. Coast Guard releasing new videos of a helicopter rescue in Washington. The latest flooding conditions ahead at 8:30.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm China Green. A judge has sentenced a Portland man to life in prison for a deadly shooting near the Burnside Bridge. A jury convicted 21-year-old Rizzo Lucas of second-degree murder for killing Fars G'day in April 2022. Investigators say Lucas, who was barely 18 at the time, walked up to G'day on Southwest Nato Parkway, pulled out a pistol, and shot him in the neck. G'day ran towards the Burnside Bridge, where he eventually bled to death. Investigators found no clear motive. We have more details on KGW.com. Headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at weather.
China, up above, it looks like this. The live look from our Timberline sky camera. You can see the broken cloud cover that has worked its way into the Cascade foothills. And of course, the rest of us are down below. So from our Wells Fargo sky camera, we're socked in it. It's 53 last check at PDX, even a little bit of light drizzle being reported there. The fog, all of a sudden in the last 15 or 20 minutes, is beginning to lift out of Salem. But in some cases, we still have dense fog across the region early this morning. That will burn off, and I've got Portland topping out in the mid-50s this afternoon. Kind of the similar story tomorrow, and then some light rain back in the picture as we head into Sunday.
Good morning. We begin this half hour of sunrise with a live look at Pioneer Courthouse Square, where Sunday night the community will celebrate the first night of Hanukkah and 40 years of Portland's public menorah. Festivities begin at 4 p.m. and include a latke bar, live music, and more. And over in Vancouver, the 19-foot grand menorah at the waterfront will also be let Sunday evening. There will be free donuts, music, and live ice menorah carving across from Evoke Winery. That event starts at 4 p.m. as well. Sunday is the first night of Hanukkah. Thank you for joining us here at 8:30. I'm China Green. We got Chris McGinnis in the house for a look at your weather and traffic. Chris,
let's take you above the cloud deck that's got us socked in this morning. It's a pretty look from Mount Hood, pointed south towards Mount Jefferson and the Three Sisters there off in the distance. And down here you can see the low cloud deck that has worked its way in and kind of swallowed up the, the sunrise, at least for those of us down below right now. The Wells Fargo sky camera is up in the cloud deck, and in fact, we are squeezing out a little drizzle last check at PDX at 53 degrees. This camera looks remarkably better in the last 15 minutes. This is from Salem. All morning long, it's been really tough to make out the Capitol, and now all of a sudden the fog is beginning to lift. That said, there still are parts of the region under a dense fog advisory for a little while longer. Hillsborough, quarter-mile visibility for you folks. Salem's visibility has jumped up to a half a mile. It looks like it's improving significantly on that sky camera. That said, there is a dense fog advisory for Hillsborough, McMinnville, and Salem through about 10 o'clock. So a little foggy for some of us this morning. Otherwise, the fog breaks up, and we should see at least some partial sunshine today. I've got Portland getting into the mid-50s this afternoon. Let's get you out the door to look at the roads, and we start off with the one trouble spot that we have, which has been in West Lynn. So we had an earlier crash near the West Lynn exit, the 10th Street exit from I-205 southbound. That crash was cleared a little while ago. But as always, there's a residual delay, and that right now extends back to the Gladstone area. So we're a little slow on that side of town. Elsewhere, a little foggy right now at the Sylvan Hill. As cars come up and over the Sylvan Hill and then down into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Right now, that's a 23-minute clip to get you into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. China?
thank you. A judge has sentenced a Portland man to life in prison for a deadly shooting near the Burnside Bridge. A jury convicted 21-year-old Rizzo Lucas of second-degree murder for killing Fars Gaudet in April 2022. Investigators say Lucas, who was barely 18 at the time, walked up to Gaudet on Southwest Nato Parkway, pulled a pistol out, and shot him in the neck. That's where Gaudet died. We spoke to Gaudet's sister after that hearing, where she shared this message for her brother's killer.
I hope he has a miserable time in jail. I hope the food makes his stomach hurts every day. I hope he has headaches and nightmares. And I hope my brother is traumatizing him every time he goes to sleep.
Investigators found no clear motive, but just weeks before the shooting, police arrested Lucas for an assault in Northwest Portland, but he was released on bail. Thousands of Oregonians on food assistance now face work requirements after federal waivers ended December 1st. The change affects about 37,000 adults and ages 18 to 52 without dependents who must now work, volunteer, or attend employment training 80 hours a month to keep the SNAP benefits. 6 counties have enforced these rules since October, but now they apply statewide. Oregon's Department of Human Services says it's notified everyone impacted, and people can contact the agency if they're unsure whether they qualify for an exemption. Northwest Natural has just laid off about 2% of its positions. That's according to the Portland Business Journal. In a statement, the company said it made cuts to, quote, address concerns about customer affordability and reduce costs going forward. At the end of October, nearly 7,000 Northwest Natural customers saw their gas bills rise by an average of 5.4%, bringing the average monthly bill to nearly $86. After more than 30 years in business, Metro Paint is closing its doors at the end of the year. Metro Paint is operated by Metro to recycle and repurpose paint from around our area. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now. Thomas, why are they closing?
Yeah, well, China, a spokesperson tells us it's because there are just more private businesses that are now in this industry selling recycled paint, meaning that Metro, which is a government agency, can take a step back. For the past 30 years, this warehouse has been a staple of North Portland by doing something innovative.
When Metro first began recycling paint in the early 90s, there really wasn't a program like Metro Paint.
Gia Balish, a spokesperson for Metro, says nobody in the area recycled paint when the program started. Instead, it was shucked into landfills. So Metro stepped in and created Metro Paint, which has recycled millions of gallons of paint.
So these mixers are high-speed motors that are going to blend up all those shades of red or white or blue into one consistent color.
Michael Feliz has worked here for 8 years. Unused paint from around the state funnels into this building, where workers recycle it into a new product.
It's a pretty intensive process.
Intensive, but good for the environment.
Not only does that help conserve natural resources and water, but it really has helped cut down on carbon pollution that comes from making new paint.
Balish says the program spurred a state law in 2009 mandating all paint be recycled.
Metro Paint is a success story. This program has been around for more than 30 years. It's kept millions of gallons of paint from ending up in the landfill.
Though at the end of the year, Metro Paint will close for good. Balish says more private companies are in the business, meaning Metro no longer needs to lend a hand.
It's just amazing to see the scale of paint that has come in here.
But before the paint store closes,
you can see shelves are starting to empty out.
They're offering low prices to customers in need of a final batch of Metro Paint.
We're already seeing availability start to dwindle for some colors, so if you have a particular shade in mind, definitely come out sooner rather than later.
And yeah, those supplies aren't going to last long, right? Earlier this week, myself and photographer Eric Patterson visited Metro Paint. At the time, paint was selling for just $9 a bucket. Those prices are just going to drop as Metro Paint gets closer to shutting its doors for good at the end of the year. Now, for anybody looking to learn where to recycle their paint now, they're advised to visit paintcare.org for those drop-off locations. China?
This morning, we are continuing to track the impact of this week's atmospheric rivers and heavy rain. In northwest Washington, as many as 100,000 people may need to evacuate due to widespread flooding. The worst of it is in Skagit County, north of Seattle, where the Skagit River could see its highest levels in modern history. Closer to our area in Lewis County, more than a dozen people spent Wednesday night at a Red Cross shelter set up at St. John's Lutheran Church. One evacuee talked about what she saw before heading to the shelter.
I turned around the corner, it was just looked like a lake, basically, and everybody was just kind of carrying all their stuff out, and some people were getting mad and crying, and there's a lot of animals that were like in distress and everything.
That evacuee got to return home yesterday. During a press conference, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson said he is working closely with FEMA to try and approve a disaster declaration for the state. Meantime, a family is grateful for Good Samaritans in a community near Olympia whose actions may have saved their lives. When a woman and her sister's kids were headed to a laser light show, they didn't see any road closed signs that they thought they couldn't make it through. So this is near the rising Chehalis River. Their car shut down in the middle of it and they had to wade into the water to find help.
Giovanni's carrying Liliana. Me and Gabriel are walking towards a truck that I don't know who's in there. I'm just hoping that it's a good person, and thankfully it was an amazing person. And he just opened his doors, let us in, didn't even ask us any questions, and just started taking us back to where there was dry land.
Turns out that the road had been closed, but apparently the signs washed away in the floodwaters. Luckily, the family was not hurt. And take a look at this. The U.S. Coast Guard released video showing a helicopter rescue in Washington. The helicopter crew had to use a basket to rescue two people trapped inside a flooded home in the city of Sumas. That's about 50 miles southeast of Vancouver, British Columbia. They were transferred to a nearby landing zone where they received medical care. And stay with KGW as we continue our extreme weather coverage. You can watch us anytime on our streaming TV app, KGW Plus, and on our website, kgw.com. Headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at traffic.
Not so bad out there, and not that that's unusual, right? Fridays, for whatever reason, appear to be usually a little lighter than Monday through Thursdays. Your morning commute coming in from the west side up to about 23 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. It's a little drippy. That low cloud deck has been squeezing out some drizzle here in North Portland and over at Northeast Portland at PDX. So we've got that maybe adding to some of the slowing here on that I-5 South Drive. Right now, you're about 18 minutes or so to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And one other trouble spot that we've got, I-205 from Clackamas to Gladstone and Westland. So we had an earlier crash down near 10th Street. That's out of the way, but the drive pretty thick now from Gladstone south to the Abernathy Bridge. We're moving along at 10, 12 miles an hour. So give yourself a couple of extra minutes to get around that.
Thank you, Chris. Still ahead, Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. We take a closer look at the holiday shopping rush with a tour at the Postal Service.
Hey, our team tests tons of products. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best. And I love this one. It's called the Zippy Sweeper Pro. take a look at it, and it's got this tri-brush technology here. It's very lightweight, cordless, so you can walk around the house. You just charge it with a USB-C, 30 minutes of use, and it can pick up almost everything. So let me turn it on for you here. Here are some Cheerios on the floor, very common around my house. Picking them right up, no problem at all, right? And then here's another problem we have too. Come on down here for a second. This is my dog's dog bowl, and he's a messy eater, so we always have the pet food around too. So look at that, nice and easy. And it's really, really easy to use too. I've been playing with this for the last few days. Also picked up frozen veggies on the floor too, so it really does work. The other great thing about the Zippy Sweeper Pro, it really gets into places that you really wouldn't want to with a dust buster because it hurts your back. Look how easy this is, right under my coffee table, and I'm barely bent down at all. Very good for people with back problems like me.
And check out the light on it, showing you exactly where to find those hidden crumbs.
Oh, and I love this. When you're done, all you have to do is pull back this gray handle. Let me tilt this up so you can see it. And it all just comes right out into the trash, no mess. We have an amazing deal on this for you today. Normally, this is $129.99. Today, exclusive for our viewers, $69.99. That is a huge 46% off the retail price. You know it's gonna go, it's while supplies last. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We got an up-close look at how the Postal Service has prepared for the holiday shipping rush. USPS gave us a tour of the Regional Processing and Distribution Center, and their highlight is a state-of-the-art machine they call EPS. That's one of only 2 in the nation. They say it processes packages up to 4 times faster than their other systems.
It creates the ability for us to have that efficiency and move those packages and process them locally, regionally, and nationally at a much higher rate, which is fantastic for us because right now this year, we're seeing an average of 2.8 days is the average delivery time from when a customer ships something to its local office that it receives it and delivers it.
And like every year, there are important shipping deadlines to keep in mind. So for USPS Ground Advantage and First Class, it's December 17th. Priority Mail is the 18th and Express is the 20th, but keep in mind those will be more expensive. All right, we have those details for you on the screen, but now we want to take a live look from our toy box this morning because there's still time to donate to the KGW Great Toy Drive. See all those toys? It's so pretty, but listen to this. let you know that there is still time to donate to the KGW Great Toy Drive. The box may be filling up, but we want to give gifts to as many local kids as possible. This morning, we're again joined by pianist extraordinaire, friend of the Sunrise Show. That was Michael Allen Harrison that you heard there. One way you can give gifts is by going online to kgw.com/toy and clicking Donate Cash. It's a great week to give because our great clips doubling your donations for the toys. And you can also drop off new unwrapped toys at 2 of our collection events this week. This weekend, that is. The first is tomorrow at Cedar Hills Crossing from 11 to 2. Second on Sunday at the Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, Fred Meyer from 11 to 2. All right, Chris is here for a look at your weather.
My gift to you, a beautiful sunrise. Okay, I promised. Here's the time lapse of that sun coming up over the Cascades this morning. We had just gorgeous color in the sky. Isn't that awesome? Of course, you can see the low cloud deck down below, which we have been socked in, but up at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood, that's a really, really pretty shot, pointed south towards Mount Jefferson and the Three Sisters off in the distance. Looks like some little lenticular clouds, some jellyfish clouds there as well. But of course, we've been beneath that cloud deck for much of the morning, so we wouldn't have seen that. All right, I'm not going to promise this just yet, but some hope for the ski season and Christmas. Not only is the European model, but also the GFS model, the American GFS model, suggesting snow levels lowering a bit down to Cascade Passes towards the middle of next week and then for days beyond, indicating there is at least a chance that we could get enough snow up on the ski slopes towards the end of next week to have some partial openings around Christmas time. We'll hope for that. It's possible. But man, has it been a ridiculously warm December thus far, to the tune of almost 8 degrees above average through the first 11 days. That has definitely been a story to go along with the rain, right? All right, we're done with that right now, but we're done with the rain anyway, the steady heavy rain. We've got some patchy drizzle out there and fog this morning. I think we'll see a foggy morning tomorrow and then some partial afternoon sunshine. And rain does return this weekend for Sunday. It'll be light rain Sunday, but more significant rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I know that is front of mind, top of mind after the soaking that we got earlier this week. While we do tap into some subtropical moisture for early next week, it is nowhere near what we saw last week or earlier this week. So I just want to start out by saying that. Now, that said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are by far the wettest days of our forecast here, with 1, 2, 3 storm systems set to target the region in that time frame. Initially, it will be rain in the Cascades, but towards the end of next week, those snow levels do appear that they will dip and give us some snow up there. All right, we've got sunshine in Lincoln City right now. That's pretty. We've also got sun in the Dalles as we look back towards Mount Hood. So the East Gorge is seeing sun. Meanwhile, we're seeing this. Watch out for the spider. The spider just hanging out on the top of the Wells Fargo sky camera. It's socked in with fog in Sherwood right now as well. Visibility in Hillsborough, a quarter mile right now. We've got a half-mile visibility down in Salem. So that part of our viewing area remains under a dense fog advisory through 10 o'clock this morning. Now, that fog should lift, but right now it's 52 in Hillsborough, it's 47 in Salem, and our modeling is suggesting that the fog may not completely burn off in Salem, so you'll see that Futurecast keeps Salem in the low 50s for highs. Meanwhile, here in Portland, Vancouver, Longview, we climb into the upper 50s, so we do think we'll be mild again today. Again, Futurecast does try to poke a few holes in that cloud cover this afternoon. Tomorrow morning likely starts off with widespread fog. It could be a very foggy morning. Hopefully that burns off, and if it does, we could wind up with a really nice day on Saturday. If not, maybe in and out of the cloud cover. And then Sunday, of course, the next round of rain rolls in. Sunday's rain doesn't look like too big of a deal. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as we mentioned, those days will be fairly wet, upwards of maybe an inch plus of rain over those 3 or 4 days. Okay, let's get you out the door. A look at the roads right now. The roads have not been in too bad a shape this morning, but we got a couple of slow spots. Right now, you're tripping from Hillsborough, averaging about 23 minutes. The drive through North Portland, we had a little bit of a backup here near the Expo Center not too long ago. It looks like that has cleared out. It's a little drizzly on that side of town. Right now, China, the trip in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge, averaging 16 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. All right, we have some birthdays to celebrate today, starting with Olivia, turning 7 in Salem. Also in Salem, Avalee turning 17. Braden also turning 17 today. We have Jennifer turning 40 in Sherwood. Inga, 55 today. And then we have Holly also celebrating a birthday. If you have a birthday shout out you want us to share on air, send an email to birthdays@kgw.com. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In a wrap of our top stories this morning, a judge has sentenced a Portland man to life in prison for a deadly shooting near the Burnside Bridge in 2022. Investigators say Rizzo Lucas walked up to Fars G'day on Southwest Nato Parkway, pulled out a pistol, and shot him in the neck. G'day died. Investigators found no clear motive. Thousands of Oregonians on food assistance now face work requirements after federal waivers ended December 1st. The change affects about 37,000 adults ages 18 to 52 without dependents who now need to work, volunteer, or attend employment training 80 hours a week to keep those SNAP benefits. And effective immediately, Multnomah County is banning semi-trucks from using the Stark Street Bridge after another crash in October. You may remember that a truck slammed into the concrete wall and crumbled the pedestrian bridge fence, launching a chunk of stone onto the sandy riverbank. Now commercial trucks over 19 tons are banned from turning onto the bridge. The restriction will stay in place until the 110-year-old bridge is replaced.
Getting you out the door this morning, foggy in some cases. There's the live look from the springs and the waterfront. Vancouver, 53 degrees at Pearson Airfields, 53 last check at PDX with a little drizzle as well being squeezed out from that cloud deck. Clouds lift, and we've got a little afternoon sun with a high of 56. Morning drive right now, not in too bad a shape. Here's a quick check of the traffic. Drive times are generally in pretty good shape this morning. 35 miles an hour.
Finally on Sunrise, the annual Grape Figgy Pudding Caroling Competition returns tonight at Portland's Living Room. Video is from last year. It starts at 6 p.m. with caroling groups spreading the holiday cheer, and then at 7:30, the three groups will return for a carol off. All right, a reminder that you can watch Sunrise every day live here exclusively on KGW Plus starting at 7 o'clock. We also have an extra half hour of news at 12:30 and at 5:30 right here on Plus. But before we let you go, we want to say a big thank you to Michael Allen Harrison, who has been with us all morning with his extraordinary music. His annual concert Christmas at the Old Church starts tomorrow, all through Christmas Eve. Have a good weekend.